this is all gossip because I don't know for a fact. I'm speaking from what I hear. And so we can all say that this whole video is alleged. Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to try to keep this video short. It's not going to be as long as the other one. Also, my phone does not have any battery. So if my phone dies while I'm making this video, I'm going to have to cut this video, recharge my phone, and then come back. This video is about the top 5 shocking accusations that were made against Diddy by one of his victims. I don't know if you guys heard of Lamisha Fuller, or aka April Fuller. She was on one of the YouTubers' channel. I think his name is Lionel? No, what's his name? Lionel? I think Lionel B. Or Lionel B. Maybe, I think it's Lionel. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Lionel B. Why did I say Leonard? I don't know. His name is Lionel B. And he has an amazing channel. He does great interviews with different people on that show. That channel. I recommend you guys watch his channel. I might even cut out the part where I said his name wrong. His name is Lionel B. So Lamisha April Fuller was on Lionel B's show, and she made some accusation against Diddy that were mind-blowing. I believe all of her accusation. I know there's controversy between her and some of the other victims or handlers or whatever, but I believe the things that she was saying, and I'm sure other people have said those things as well. So let's get into some of the accusations that she accused Diddy of doing. The first one is stealing and selling children. She and a lot of other victims have spoken about the children that are going missing and children that are ending up in Diddy's possession and his associates. So when they talk about children, because she was talking about how she ended up in a cage and there were a lot of children there, and the children were from different countries because she said they were speaking different languages. And I don't know if these children were Haitian children. I don't know if they were African children, but she was talking about how the children were speaking the language, and one of the child, when they were releasing the cage to let them out, we'll get into why they were releasing them from the cage. She said that one of the girls would be shouting fight, and because of the girl shouting fight, because she understood that part fight, anytime she would be being sexually abused, she started fighting back because of that young girl. So children were being sold to Diddy, and I guess Diddy was selling those children to Johns. So the question now lies, okay, so children were being sold to Diddy, or Diddy was getting access to these children. Where were these children coming from? Were they coming from Child Protective Services? Were social workers giving Diddy these children? Was the organization itself giving Diddy these children? Were they coming from foster parents? Were foster parents contacting Diddy, or Diddy was having access to foster parents and contacting them for children? And how was he getting access to different foster parents or even adoptive parents and getting these children? Were they reaching out to Diddy, or was Diddy reaching out to them? How did he get access to the records to get these large amount of children? Me, I personally think it was through the the social work or child protective services and organizations. That's my opinion. Another question was, maybe was it NGO and nonprofit organizations that work with children? Were they the ones giving Diddy and his associate access to these children? And then you know, Diddy and his associates, they were all building all these schools that are filled with children. That could have been another way they were getting access to them, through these schools that they were building. You know, Oprah had schools in Africa. You know, Diddy, Ashton Kutcher, they all were building schools. Even John Legend. They were all building all these schools, charter schools, whatever schools they were building. Those could have given them access to these children that were going missing and being sold. And also parents. There were parents of children that were selling their children to different people, including Diddy and his associates. So the question lies is, who was giving access to these children? Who was giving Diddy, his associate, access to all these different children that they were selling and they were buying? All right. The second accusation. The second accusation that Lamisha, aka April Fuller, made was hunting and killing children. She mentioned that she was locked in a cage with all these different children, and they will release the cage and the children will run out, and then they'll be hunted. They'll be chased after and hunted, and they were also being killed. She mentioned in one of the interviews how she was forced to stab one child. The child was under 5 years old. She was the one taking care of that child, and eventually she was made to kill that child and stab the child. So that was one thing that they were doing. And she was saying, I think she said that they were doing it for sports and entertainment, where they were killing these children. But I think it goes deeper than that. I think they were using these children as human sacrifice. They were harvesting their organs. I remember years back, there was this controversy or conspiracy about Wayfair, which is a furniture company where you can buy furniture from. And there were all these large wardrobes that were being sold by Wayfair. And each wardrobe had a specific name. And when people did research, they found out that those same names that Wayfair was giving these wardrobe linked to missing children. So people were wondering, are the missing children in these wardrobe that Wayfair is selling? Or when Wayfair sells these wardrobe, the handlers or the traffickers that have the children, they were putting those children in those wardrobe and selling them to elites, to celebrities, to rich people who are going around, abusing these children. So if anybody is still following that Wayfair case or controversy, please let me know what's going on with that. What happened this was in the early 2020s. We're talking about it around the time when Kuro happened. So I haven't heard about the Wayfair controversy in a while. So I want to know 2024, 2025. How is that going? Is anybody still doing research? Is anybody going to pick back up on the research on the Wayfair wardrobe controversy that was happening? And I'm wondering if it's linked to Diddy. I'm wondering how many of those wardrobe Diddy had in his mansions. And if he got those wardrobe, did he sell them to other elites and celebrities? And which celebrity has one of those wardrobes in their house? And what were they doing with them? All right. Okay. The third accusation that Lamisha April Fuller accused Diddy of is drugging and sexually abusing children. She was one of the child that was drugged and sexually abused. She mentioned that Jean Pierre, Diddy's best friend and the VIP or vice president of his company, Bad Boys Entertainment, met her when she was very young, around 9 or 10. He made her eat jelly beans that were infused with drugs and put her on a jet and took her to New York from Texas, where she was. There's other cases of victims claiming that they were made to drink alcohol or drink a drink, and that drink was laced with drugs as well. And that was before they were sexually abused. And these were all children. I'm sure adults, they did it to adults too, but we're talking about the children. So this is what happened with the children. They were drugged and then sexually abused. All right. And also, there were a lot of people talking about how they would go to Diddy's parties and there would be children there as well. So you're talking about a party that's supposed to be meant for adults. These adults are doing drugs, they're drinking alcohol, they're intoxicated, and they have children around. And who knows how adults behave when they're intoxicated and under the influence and what they do to children. So you can imagine what was happening to these children in these Diddy parties. All right. And then number 4, eating children and people. There's been a lot of people who have done interviews and they've skated around this topic. But the first person that I heard actually talk about it, even though it was not in detail, was Lamisha April Fuller. She claimed that when she was with Diddy, she ended up escaping and going back to her grandmother's house. And she ended up telling her grandmother everything that happened to her while she was under Diddy's care or while she was with Diddy. And she said every time she misbehaved, the grandmother will mock her and throw it back in her face, the things that she told her, including how the grandmother will mock her for eating people. You understand? So she just mentioned that in passing. She didn't go into details, but it let you know what Diddy was forcing people to do under his I don't even want to say care, because care is not the right word. He was forcing people to eat other people. And this is what Lamisha Fuller said. She didn't go into details, and I would have liked if Lionel B had pressed her more to go into details about that. And I know other victims have stated going to elite parties, and then there'll be dinner and the table will have raw meat. They didn't go into details about the raw meat. They were very cagey and wary about what to say, but I have this suspicion that this raw meat that they were talking about was human organs, because if it was animals, they wouldn't have been as uncomfortable talking about it, because a lot of people eat animals raw or cooked. But this raw meat, it seemed like they were so uncomfortable that they were talking about human remains. So it seems like a lot of elites eat humans and they're cannibals, and they force the victims as well to eat humans. So you guys can go and watch Lamisha Fuller, April Fuller's video with Lionel B, where she mentioned her grandmother throwing it back in her face that she ate humans. Okay? And I'm assuming that the humans that they were eating was probably the babies that they were killing, maybe even adults as well. But for me, I feel like if they were hunting and killing these babies that were in cages, they also used them as human sacrifices and ate them as well. And it's funny because the things that Diddy is doing are the same thing that Hugh Hefner did. And maybe Diddy used the blueprint of Hugh Hefner to do all of these things, because Hugh Hefner was also a cannibal, and he also was a pedophile and believed in incest and abusing children and, bestiality and all of those things Diddy also is doing. So I don't know if he had a blueprint, Hugh Hefner had a blueprint that certain people were reading and following. I think there was some documentary I saw on Hugh Hefner that said that he did have that blueprint, and Hugh Hefner also got that blueprint from someone else. I don't remember who the person was. I hope it wasn't that Scientology guy. I forgot his name, but they're all the same. And then the last one that Lamisha April Fuller touched on was baby farming, where these men will be impregnating multiple women to have children, and maybe they were selling those children, who knows, abusing those children. I don't know the reason why these men were impregnating multiple women to have children, but it's very funny. It makes me think of the music and the entertainment industry right now, hip-hop industry, rap industry, where a lot of men, they're having a lot of children by different women, and I'm wondering, what is the purpose of this? Is it to sell these children, to abuse these children, to exploit these children? What is the reason why? Lamisha Fuller talked about how she was pregnant at least once or twice, and one of the child, she was a surrogate for someone else, so that that person will claim to be the parent of the child in public, but she was the actual one carrying the children. And I think a lot of girls, young girls like Lamisha Fuller, were also forced to have children for these celebrities, because they'll be on the arms of women who are more their age, and those women will be pretending to be the mother of their children, while in reality they'll be impregnating very young girls who will be carrying those children to terms, and then they'll hand over those children to adult women who are more of the age of these celebrities, and they'll be walking around saying that these are the mothers of those children, even though they might use the eggs of those women, but the surrogate would be young children, or sometimes they'll just impregnate young children and then have the adult woman be the surrogate. We don't know. This is all gossip because I don't know for a fact. I'm speaking from what I hear. And so we can all say that this whole video is alleged. And I'll do a clip where I say in the beginning, this is all alleged. This is all alleged. We're just talking from things that we've heard. So guys, this video was short. I didn't want it to be too long. I just wanted you to know some of the accusation that Lamisha, aka Per Fuller, accused Diddy of. I'm sure there was more, but those were the ones that stood out to me, and I think we need to look deeper into them and figure out the answers. What's going on? Where is Diddy, all of these elites getting access to all these children that they're buying, selling, abusing, killing, and eating? Is it the Child Protective Services that is giving them access to these children? Is it NGOs that work with children that are giving them access? Is it schools that are giving them access? We need to get to the bottom to find out who's giving these horrible monsters access to these children, and how we can stop it as well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. Until next time, bye.